Before I talk about the required elements of an expert report, let me emphasize that the report has to be yours. You have to think out what you want to say and what sections you want to create in it. You have to write what you did, then explain how the results of your investigations led to your conclusions. Now, if you are new to this, you may be thinking, well, of course I'm going to write it. Who else would write it? You will discover from time to time that after you write your report, your attorney may ask to read or review it before you submit it formally. That is when problems may arise. A simple review that uncovers errors in grammar, punctuation, or spelling is not a problem. Substantive changes in your report, such as the suggestion that you add additional text or entire sections to the report, can be a problem. You and your attorney both have to realize that the job of coming to an opinion is yours. At most, the attorney may help you with minor phraseology in expressing your opinion or opinions. An important tactic to realize is that if the opposing attorneys and the court discover that your own attorney influenced any substantial content of your report, the court has the right and in fact the responsibility to reject all or part of your report. This brings us back somewhat to the discussion of ethics in Lesson 2. Even though one side has hired you, you still must be objective. You have the responsibility to help the court reach a proper and fair verdict. As an expert witness, you have to be alert to the occasional attempts to influence your opinion by the attorney with whom you work. This does not happen often, but when it does, the attorney will seem solicitous or casual, or simply suggest minor changes in wording or content. Deciding what constitutes a minor change is really up to you. In the end, the expert report has to contain your wording and your opinions. You have to stand behind every word that you've written in your expert report. You cannot honestly accept changes in major content unless you completely forgot to include an opinion that you had actually worked on. Let's talk about background and credentials. As you can see in my sample expert report, I include my background and qualifications in the first section. I organize and label the information so that it is easy to see my work and educational experience, plus any other relevant experience that qualifies me to be an expert in a legal matter. Experts with specialized skills do not automatically qualify to be hired as an expert in a case. For example, a medical doctor in neuroscience is not likely to be hired as an expert in a medical case that involves podiatry. A computer forensics expert is not likely to be hired for a case involving a large networking software system that failed. You should include in this section the primary things in your background that speak to your unique specialty. Also, as you can see in my sample report, I refer to an Exhibit A, which contains my complete CV, and an Exhibit B, which contains a list of the cases on which I have previously worked. Both of these summaries of credentials help to qualify me, and I include them with my report as separate attachments to each expert report. If you have any additional or unique experience or credentials that are not expressly included, you should add a paragraph or two about them. In the second section of my report, I list additional documents that I reference in and throughout the report. These can become additional exhibits that I add to the printed report directly after my CV and my previous testimonial experience. In Exhibits C and D and so forth, I will list and label other printed documents that I wish to reference in the remaining portion of my expert report. A short sentence with a meaningful label, along with dates, should be enough to identify each of these additional exhibits. My third section is the compensation and contact information section. It provides an opportunity for you to document your fee structure. My fee structure is simply an hourly rate plus expenses. If your fee schedule varies according to what services you provide or under what conditions you provide them, you should clarify that in this short section. For example, you may charge a higher rate when testifying or a lower rate when traveling. Your contact information, which you can show in section 4, address, should include your business address, even if that is a home office, and the appropriate business phone number.